It is Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my video. As always, please like and subscribe. I sincerely appreciate that. Please hit that thumbs up button. That'll help out my channel analytics. And please leave a comment in the comment section below. In this video, I'm going to review two Blue Note Classic Vinyl Series reissue records. Just listening to them in my last listening session. And also I'm going to have a conversation about this CD format called XRCD that was issued back in the day. We'll have a conversation about XRCDs in the final segment of my video. I just have some questions about XRCDs for my audience, those of you who are familiar with them, in the last section of my video. But I'm going to start by reviewing this album. Wayne Shorter, The Soothsayer is the name of the album. This was originally recorded in 1965, but it was not issued till 1979. And this is part of the Blue Note Classic Vinyl Series. This one, I believe, was issued August 2025. This album features James Spaulding alto sax, Wayne Shorter tenor sax, Freddie Hubbard trumpet, Corey Tyner piano, Ron Carter bass, Tony Williams drums on this album. This is a very lively affair, a very lively jazz performance by these great group of musicians. I'll show you the song listing. And it is a great feel, a great vibrant feel in the stereo sound space when you have Freddie Hubbard in the left channel. I believe Wayne Shorter is in the left channel as well. He's in either left or right, and James Spaulding, if he's not in the left, he's in the right. So you have the horn section, you know, on opposite speakers, and when they're playing together, it creates this awesome, you know, very vibrant stereo effect. It definitely does. And Ron Carter is in the middle of the sound stage on bass, along with McCoy Tyner on piano, and Tony Williams on drums. I believe he was in the right speaker, if I recall. And the song on this album that I was really into is the title track, The Soothsayer. I like the beginning of that particular track and that particular song. And also the song Lady Day, a beautiful tribute to Billie Holiday. That's a beautiful performance on that song with great solos. And probably my second or third favorite song on this album is Valse Triste. I think that's how you pronounce it. The last song on side 2. Side 2 is tremendous. Side 1 is quite good too. Freddie Hubbard is tremendous on this album. Freddie Hubbard on a lot of Blue Note albums was a great, sideman. A lot of those albums could be considered Freddie Hubbard album. He was a major contributor to a lot of these Blue Note albums and played exceptionally well on these albums. This came to my mind. I wonder how much these sidemen were getting paid for their efforts on these albums over the years as sidemen. But Freddie Hubbard was tremendous on this album, along with Wayne Shorter, to a lesser degree James Spaulding. But these are great classic jazz tunes. It was performed amazingly great on this album. If I would judge the score in terms of the performance on this album, this greatly performed jazz album, I give the score about an 8.5. This does not represent Wayne Shorter at his best, but he's quite good on this album in terms of his performance and the jazz vibe and grooves that he lays down via this great group on this album. Like I said, Freddie Hubbard solos great on this album, but he always does, and Tony Williams was steady in the right speaker. So I give the performance a solid 8.5, a solid jazz performance. The sound is 8.5 as well, 8 to 8.5. I know I say this in a lot of my videos when I'm talking about Blue Note records. I get to the point where over the decades I've noticed this sound, but it's almost like their signature sound where you have the bass buried in the mix and the piano is not as dimensional as well. I've gotten used to that. Why that was that recording process was in vogue with Van Gelder Studios, with Rudy Van Gelder, I have no clue. These would be tremendous albums if the bass and piano had more presence. I know I say that in all my Blue Note jazz videos, review videos, but it is what it is. But I don't let that get in the way of enjoying these fabulous recordings, performances, and albums. I just look at that as part of the way Blue Note records are. Wayne Shorter, you need to check this out. And before you consider purchasing these albums, check them out first on YouTube or somewhere on the internet before you consider purchasing them, because your likes and dislikes in music might be different from mine. So please check them out on the internet first before you consider purchasing this album. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to this album. Like I said, the Soothsayer, the title track, is quite good in my opinion. To a lesser degree, but almost equal level, Lady Day and Valsy Triste are quite good. The entirety of side 2 is quite good. Side 1 is quite good as well. The next album I'm going to review, I believe it was originally issued in 1994, and it was reissued on Blue Note Classic Vinyl Series. This is a Jerry Allen Trio. And the name of the album is 21. This album features Jerry Allen piano, Ron Carter bass, Tony Williams drums, and it is a solid outing by Jerry Allen, who unfortunately passed away at a young age. I think she may have passed away at the age of 60, unfortunately, but she was a great educator, a fabulous composer and piano player, and her piano playing throughout this album is quite solid. There's this, I'll show you the song listing. There is this beautiful song on here that sounds quite good, and perhaps you should listen to it first, although all the songs in this album are quite solid in terms of performances. The song is called In the Morning. In the Morning, for my sister Leola, I believe it's called. In the Morning by Jerry Allen. It's a Jerry Allen composition. It's a beautiful, beautiful song, beautiful composition. And it was greatly performed with Ron Carter bass, Tony Williams drums. And like I said, all the songs on here, in terms of the performances by Jerry Allen, are just solid throughout. And she was accompanied well by Tony Williams and Ron Carter. This is a solid 8.5 in performance. Great performance by Jerry Allen. The sound I have a major issue with, though, and I'll get into that now. And I'm going to start with the soundstage. The soundstage on this album was incredibly narrow to me compared to some of the greater jazz albums that are full and dimensional. This was very narrow. I'm used to like a width like this, but it was like this to me. I mean, at times you can hear Ron Carter on bass on the outer edge of the right speaker at times, but also at times you hear, all three musicians, especially Tony Williams and Jerry Allen, occupying the same space in the soundstage. And when you have a trio, it should have more of a spread. It should have more of and use an entire stereo spread. And they did not do this on this album. At times it sounded like a very good mono album to me. It didn't sound like a very good stereo album. I had a fault with that. And there's a song on here called Drummer Song. It's a Jerry Allen composition. I have no problem with the song. It just wasn't recorded that well. It sounded so insufficient that I checked my turntable setup. That's how insufficient that song was. I checked the tracking force. It was fine. I clean my cartridge on a regular basis. I should say my stylus, but I clean that just to be sure. Although I clean it on a regular basis. My stylus hygiene on my Rega P8 turntable with a Apheta 3 cartridge is quite excellent. But I cleaned it again, got the same sound of results. Drummer Song was not recorded that well and doesn't come across well on my stereo system. And also this album sounds at times, not all the times, but at times, like an excellent CD versus an excellent sounding vinyl analog record. I know this probably was recorded in the digital domain. I get that. It probably was, but even digitally recorded albums, I've heard digitally recorded albums sound much better than this one. So that's a fault. It sounded more CD-like at times than analog vinyl-like at times. And the soundstage was too narrow to my liking. So if I were to judge the sound, I'm going to give the sound somewhere between 6.5 and a 7. I'll be generous and give it 7. I'm being generous when I give it that 7. The sound is 7. The performance is quite solid by the trio. It covers the bass frequencies very well, the deep bass frequencies, the upper register of the piano and the cymbal hits of the drums. It captures that quite well, but in my opinion. But overall, it was lacking in terms of, compared to some of the other great vinyl analog sources I listened to. Performance 8.5, sound a 7, like I said, because narrow sound stage, and it sound at times more CD-like than analog vinyl-like, in my opinion. But the performance is legit. If you want to check this, get this album, you're getting it for the performances and not necessarily because this is an audiophile record, because this is not an audiophile record. Although it sounds quite nice, it's not on par with some of the better albums that I've heard. But check it out on the internet or YouTube, see if you like the performances. This is a 2-album set, by the way. It's a 2-album set, and both albums are in a single sleeve. And I bought this on sale at Acoustic Sound for $16 or something like that. But it was worth the price of admission at that price. It really was. Jerry Allen Trio, Ron Carter, Tony Williams. Check it out, see if you like it on the internet. Now I want to have a conversation about XRCDs. I think they were first hit the market in 1995. I don't have any XRCDs in my music library. I don't, but I just want to have a conversation and put this out there and see if any of my listening audience has any XRCDs. I know a lot of digital aficionados and jazz aficionados, some of them swear by XRCDs and some of these, user groups or message groups on the internet, like the Hoffman forums and stuff like that. They swear by XRCDs. So I decided I'm going to buy one. I purchased one. I'll reveal which one I purchased in a later video, because I'm going to do a comparison video between an XRCD and a normal Redbook CD. But to me, I try to go into these things when I'm listening to different and newer formats, or formats I do not have in my collection, with an open mind. Although I do have some logical way of thinking in terms of approaching it, you would think in theory that XRCD, which is in the 44.1 kilohertz 16-bit domain, that the XRCD, all it's trying to do is maximize the potential of 41 kilohertz 16-bit, the Redbook domain. Could that compete? And you answer this question to the audience. Could that compete? Can an XRCD compete with DSD? Can it compete with SACD? Can it compete with 96 kilohertz 24 bits or 92 kilohertz 24 bits? Can it compete with those higher resolution formats? At least in my mind, in theory, all things being equal, you would think that the higher resolution formats, all things being equal, should sound better. But like I said, I try to go into these with an open mind, because like I said, a lot of people swear by those XRCDs, especially when listening to jazz. I know there are different types of XRCDs. There's XRCD, there's XRCD2, there's XRCD24, there's SHM XRCDs. The one XRCD that I did purchase is XRCD24. And again, I'm going to do my own comparison and see how it sounds against a normal Redbook CD, I should say. But please leave your comments in the comment section below if you have any XRCD, jazz XRCDs, or any other genres in that XRCD domain. And please report your listening experience over the decades at this point of listening to XRCDs. But at least in my mind, in theory, all things being equal, you wouldn't think an XRCD would sound better than an SACD or a high-res file like a 192 kilohertz 24-bit file, a 96 kilohertz 24-bit file, or a DSD file. You wouldn't think that would be the case. But those of you who may have done those comparisons with XRCDs, please leave your comments in the comment section below. But I'm going to do my comparison when I get mine. I ordered like a day or two ago, so maybe in a week or two, I might do a comparison video between that XRCD that I received, this Jazz XRCD, versus a Redbook CD that I already have of the same title. And I'll reveal that title in the next video. Please leave your comments about XRCDs in the comment section below. I've been open-minded about buying Redbook formats. For example, you know, I tried this Ultra HD 32-bit format. I don't know if that's coming out on the video. This is a high quality CD format. You know, the K2 HD format, blue spec format, and I have probably a few other different types of CD Red Book formats in my collection. And I've been open-minded about at least trying them and give them a chance. But I'm really interested in listening to XRCDs. Like I said, I know they've been out for a few decades now, but I just haven't been into them. But I thought I'd give one a chance, see what it sounds like, and report the sound comparison in a future video. But like I said, please leave your opinion about XRCDs in the comment section below. Are they just fancy Red Book CDs? I know they're mastered very well. I believe it could be Joe Harley, who could have been involved with the XRCD project. I think it was a JVC project. I know the properties of the disc. They're manufactured in a higher quality way than normal Red Book CDs, so that might give them an advantage. But does that elevate them to a higher plane above SACDs and some of the higher resolution, you know, file formats? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Please like and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. God bless, strong love, and more important than the music, let's keep the peace worldwide.